Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we salute the valor of our braves and mourn the martyrdom of our sons. This is martyr Humayun Bhatt, a deputy superintendent of police. 29 days back, his family celebrated the birth of his son. Today, they mourn the death of this brave hero. This is Major Ashish Dhoncha. He promised to come home for his birthday next month, but he will only return wrapped up in a tricolor. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Colonel Manpreet Singh, a decorated army officer. Even when it rained bullets, he led from the front. But while India mourns the loss of its sons, there are leaders from the India alliance in Kashmir who suggest that we speak to their killers. First, it was NC patron Farooq Abdullah, whose advice is to talk to Pakistan. And then, of course, Congress leader Saifuddin Soz declared that speaking to terrorists is the only way to restore peace. Listen it.
झूठ का सहारा नहीं लेना चाहिए। ये तो प्रोपेगेंडा तो खूब जानते हैं। अब कश्मीर की आवाज़ ये है कि भाई यहाँ कत्ल-गारत जारी है, मासूम लोग मारे जा रहे हैं। कहना चाहिए हम पाकिस्तान के साथ अमन से रहना चाहते हैं और खून खराबा बंद होना चाहिए, और वो कहें कि हम पाकिस्तान से बात करना चाहते हैं और इन मिलिटेंट्स के साथ भी बात होनी चाहिए। आखिर बातचीत का दरवाज़ा खुलना चाहिए।
और इसका मुझे अंत नहीं दिखता है। आज भी देखिए, कहीं रजौरी में एनकाउंटर, कहीं और एनकाउंटर रोज़ होते रहे, और हुकूमत रोज़ चिल्लाती रहती है कि मिलिटेंसी ख़त्म हो गई। अब बताइए मुझे, क्या मिलिटेंसी ख़त्म हो गई? ये ख़त्म नहीं होगी जब तक कोई रास्ता न ढूंढा जाए जिससे अमन आ सके। लड़ाई से अमन नहीं आता है, बातचीत से अमन आता है।
After these twin shockers, leaders of the opposition bloc are left running for cover while they deflect and target the BJP. They fall short of openly condemning statements coming from these senior leaders.
Well, I mean, who is preventing General VK Singh to isolate Pakistan? And we should isolate Pakistan. We have been isolating Pakistan, and last 2 decades we have been doing this. As far as, boycotting Pakistan is concerned, so we are not playing any bilateral series with them. Neither India team is going to Pakistan nor Pakistan team is being invited to India.
देखिए, वो तो विदेश नीति है, सरकार क्या फैसला करती है, लेकिन ये जो हुई वहाँ पे घटना, कई साल के बाद इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई है। पीछे क्या है, उनके बच्चे रह गए, कितनी तकलीफ में हैं। सबको, सरकार को भी पूरी मदद करनी चाहिए और इस बात को गंभीरता से लेना चाहिए सरकार।
क्या हमारे देश की सरकार को, क्या हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी को उनके परिवारों की, उनसे जुड़े हुए लोगों की चिंता नहीं होती? क्या इतना भी वक्त आपको नहीं मिला सोचने का, विचार करने का कि अरे ये जुलूस 3 दिन के लिए स्थगित कर दें, 2 दिन के लिए स्थगित कर दें? मैं मोदी सरकार से ये मांग करता हूं कि उन परिवारों का ध्यान रखिए।
But the Indian government has sent a strong and clear and unambiguous message. There will be no talks with Pakistan, and it should instead be an isolated and cornered country fighting its own internal problems.
जो है सोचना चाहिए, क्योंकि जब तक हम अलग थलग नहीं करेंगे पाकिस्तान को, नहीं तो उनके लिए बिजनेस एज नॉर्मल। हाँ जी ठीक है, अगर उसके ऊपर दबाव डालना है तो उसको अलग थलग करना पड़ेगा। उनको पता चलना चाहिए कि आप नॉर्मल चीज़ों के अंदर हमारे साथ रिश्ता तब तक नहीं कर सकते जब तक आप खुद नॉर्मल नहीं हो।
Farooq Abdullah and his dynasty and his family have ruled and governed and misgoverned and misruled Jammu and Kashmir for many, many years. They have been primarily responsible, their politics have been primarily responsible for decades of deprivation, decades of people of Jammu and Kashmir suffering from lack of rights, suffering from lack of economic opportunity, and suffering from the scourge of terrorism.
मुझे लगता है कि आतंकवादी जो अपना एक कड़ी कार्रवाई के कारण बैकफुट पे हैं, उनके पास आज इस प्रकार की घिनौनी घटना करने के अलावा कोई रास्ता नहीं है। लेकिन अधिकांश जम्मू कश्मीर में जो पहले हालत थे उससे आपने देखा है कि गत 4 वर्षों में कितना बड़ा बदलाव आया है। अब 4 वर्षों में एक आपने पथराव की घटना नहीं सुनी।
But can there be talks with terror? Let's remind you of Pakistan's track record. After former Prime Minister Vajpayee's Lahore bus diplomacy, Pakistan carried out the Kargil treachery. After the 2001 Agra summit, Pak slayed our braves in the Kalluchak massacre. In 2007, Dr. Manmohan Singh met Musharraf, but the very next year, Pakistan orchestrated the 26/11 attacks. And after Prime Minister Modi's 2015 surprise Lahore visit, Pak carried out the Pathankot attack. So the legitimate question we're asking on the NewsHour tonight, who really betrayed the martyrdom of our braves? That's the question and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate tonight, Major General G.D. Bakshi, defense expert. Also joining me, Sushil Pandit, Kashmiri activist. But my first question goes to Mr. Saifuddin Soz, former union minister and senior Congress leader, joining me live from Srinagar. And Saifuddin Soz Sahab, I want to ask you, what is it that actually compels you to target and make this an opportunity for talk with terrorists, no less? Hasn't India bled enough because of these Pakistani terrorists that you're now recommending, when the country is still mourning, has still to come out of the grief of losing 3 brave young heroes to terrorists? You want India to speak to terrorists and speak to Pakistan? So, sir?
Can you now say something? Are
Yes.
you asking me a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I want to tell you that today or tomorrow, talks are the only way. There's no other way. If you have to succeed in conveying your idea to Pakistan, talks are the only way. You see, you remembered Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It was a powerful voice in Lahore and Islamabad. There are circumstances, maybe we don't know the full story inside Pakistan, but then I say, you have to talk to Pakistan, I have an idea that without talks, nothing can be achieved. That there is the barrel of the gun. India has fought terrorism in Kashmir and elsewhere. India is going to fight. That road is clear. But apart from, bullet, there is the possibility of a dialogue which will ultimately be decisive. And India has its own prestige, its word, its, whenever India expresses idea through its Prime Minister, Foreign Minister and other dignitaries, India is heard internationally. And today also UN Forum can be used. Secretary General is all the time available to Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister can directly raise with him. India wants peace for development.
No.
And development cannot be peaceful. Development cannot be achieved without
Sahab,
peace.
I want to ask you,
And
yes, India wants peace, at least on that issue. We are both in agreement that India wants peace. पर ताली एक हाथ से तो नहीं बज सकती. If Pakistan does not want peace, can you actually bring peace to Kashmir? And is talking to terrorists your solution to the problem?
You see, somebody was talking to me only a week ago. He said, do you think Pakistan government has control on the terrorist outfits in Pakistan itself? It is a very dangerous situation in Pakistan. And its shades are also seen in some parts of India also. We have to be alert. India wants peace for development. That can be explained to international fora. But the question is that here in Kashmir, if there is a group of people who want to speak the language of terror, India will stand, military is there, forces are there. But apart from that power, India has the power of talking to the international community. India is respected throughout the world. And Prime Minister can raise this question directly with the UN Secretary General.
So we internationalize the issue, we go back to the UN Secretary crying कि हमें बचाने के लिए आप पाकिस्तान को control करिए, and this is the route. Either we should talk to terrorists or we should talk to Pakistan or the UN Secretary General. Saifuddin Soz Sahab. Saifuddin.
I don't want to get... No. I don't see... If you need to talk to Pakistan, then you see, then UN is also available. I say India has the prestige. Its word will be heard internationally, and UN will hear. We have a strong case against terrorism. That opportunity is available through dialogue and discussion.
But your statement, your soundbite is that we should talk to terrorists. And General G.D. Bakshi, General G.D. Bakshi, do you believe that Mr. Saifuddin Soz's formula for peace has any takers in India? And do you think, you've been in uniform. The blood of our three martyrs, the three sons of India, has not yet run cold, and we are being told, talk to Pakistan, talk to terrorists, approach the UN Secretary General. Is this even a complete betrayal of India as we see it today?
Navika, first of all, I'd like to salute the brave hearts who have laid down their lives for their country. It includes a Colonel Manpreet, it includes a Major, and it includes a DSP. It also includes a rifleman. Their families are grieving. We are being told that the only option before us is to lay down, get onto our knees and surrender, talk to Pakistan, kiss the hands of the terrorists who killed these people, and otherwise go crying to the global community to save us. We are a self-respecting nation. Where is your self-respect? Mr. Soz is saying we should talk to Pakistan. Have we not tried? Mr. Soz, put your hand on your heart. Have you not tried talking to Pakistan? Has Prime Minister after Prime Minister not done that? They've risked their political careers. Can I, sir, finish? I didn't disturb when you were talking. Kindly give me the courtesy. I am trying to tell you that Prime Minister after Prime Minister in this country has tried to broker peace with Pakistan. What have we got? Every time we tried, we were kicked in our teeth. We were stabbed in our back. Navika has just listed that entire, sequence of events. So, once when you know that this thing doesn't work and you keep trying the same thing over and over again, it's a sign of madness. I have to tell you, sir, that we have a clear solution. We have to give it back to Pakistan, raise costs and consequences to a level that Pakistan hurts and desists and is deterred. We did precisely that after Uri. We did precisely that after Balakot. And for 3 to 4 years, we had peace and quiet. When we took away 370, Pakistan, apart from just making futile noises, did nothing. It cried all the way to China to intervene on its behalf. China tried. China has also been kicked in its teeth. Right? The simple fact is, the mistake that we made was letting go. Immediately after the surgical strike and then the Balakot strike. Somebody here decided enough is enough. Oh, we have now don't need to do anything for 200 years. You are sadly mistaken. You will have to repeat this dose every 2 to 3 years and you will find you will have absolute peace and quiet. Pakistan is a state that jiske fatichar haal hai. It is a state that is in a condition of economic meltdown and civil war. It is in no condition to take on India. But if their ISI, if their military keeps on needling India in this manner, well, they will get it back.
Absolutely.
They will get it back and nice and proper. You are aware of what is happening in Gilgit-Baltistan, even as we speak. I think then two can play this game. If Pakistan, despite being on the brink of economic collapse, wants to keep needling India, wants to keep killing our citizens, well, there is a point beyond which you will be kicked in your teeth.
And Saifuddin Soz Sahab, the issue here is, you say talk to Pakistan. India has trusted Pakistan on several occasions. Whether it is Prime Minister Modi, whether it was Dr. Manmohan Singh, or whether it was Atal Bihari Vajpayee in the past, they've all trusted Pakistan. They've all tried to extend a hand of friendship. What have they got in return? What have we got in return? The history of this country is in front of your eyes. I just want to ask you, why are you so keen to talk to Pakistan and to terrorists and their sponsors? Have you not seen the number of trials that have taken place and the failures they have ended up in? And you still keep pushing the same formula of talk to Pakistan, talk to Pakistan. Do you think they understand the language of talks, dialogue?
No, actually you are responding to half my statement. I see, my case is that you fight terror on ground as best as you can do. You are doing that. Army is doing that. Para forces are doing that. And JK Police has proved through its sacrifice that it is very close to army fighting terror. And after that, what after that? You fight on ground terror as best as you can, as best as you are already doing. But apart from that, in addition to that, don't close the door of talks. You are not closing. And, you see, open the way, succeed in that, because India enjoys prestige before the international community.
When has it succeeded in the past,
so other fora are
Mr. Saifuddin Soz, when in the past have talks with Pakistan succeeded and taken us anywhere? Sushil Pandit, I understand that we should talk, we should get peace, fight on the ground, but is there a limit to the number of chances you give your opponent? Why does Mr. Saifuddin Soz or Dr. Farooq Abdullah want to give so many chances to people who never learn the language of dialogue and who want to inflict 1,000 wounds to bleed India, and that is their stated state policy? How many chances do we give them?
Namaskar, Navika. Thank you for having me on your show. And first and foremost, I pay homage to brave sons of India who have yet again offered the highest sacrifice defending all of us. I must remind through you, the viewers, that there is a Pakistan across our western border and there is a Pakistan within. And these two work in tandem. While the Pakistan outside misses no opportunity to bleed us, to inflict deep wounds on us, the Pakistan within unleashes the peace rhetoric. It tries to play the good cop by saying nice words that you can't actually dispute with, because what they do is virtue signaling. But as General Bakshi rightly said, it is a prescription for surrender. when you have a good cop, bad cop combination, the bad cop inflicts wounds on you, puts you through torture, the good cop comes and says, give in. This is what the Pakistan within is trying to do by playing the role. They have left no opportunity in the past also in order to advocate these talks, whether it is Mehbooba Mufti or Abdullahs or the Sozes or the Loans or whoever else, including Congress. And you rightly asked this question, what have these talks yielded to us? And what will these talks yield to us? They understand and they deal with only one language, and that is the language of violence and terror and jihad. And if we are pushed into talks with them on their terms, then we are pushed into giving concessions, making a surrender. I think one aspect of our foreign policy that is held firm in the last 10 years is terror and talks cannot go together. This is the first time we have consistently observed this and cornered Pakistan. Today, international community agrees with us. For once, I do accept what Mr. Soz says, that we have prestige, we have credibility. We have an audience across the globe that understands our predicament. It is not for the lack of trying from our end that talks have not worked. It is, in fact, the intent of Pakistan outside and the Pakistan within, which still wants to break us up bit by bit in different parts of geography. And unless and until we defeat them militarily, until and unless we break the back of jihad, wherever it raises its ugly head, talks will not at all appease them, will not at all placate them. They will continue to see this as a sign of weakness on our part. And hence, though I mourn today the loss of young Jawans, officers, I must tell you one thing. Even our state, our government has very often succumbed to this overture of virtue signaling when they embark on winning hearts and minds and let go of the punishment that they unleash once in a blue moon that General Bakshi referred to. We go off
absolutely
a certain course of action, and then when we do not administer the right dosage in a consistent manner, we actually send wrong signals. We send a signal of weakness. We send a signal of inconsistency. We send a signal of confusion. We have to show the signal of determination.
I want to ask you, Saifuddin Soz, is it because there is talk of elections that's in the air and suddenly you want to woo a certain section of separatists, which is why suddenly you're all heart and you want talks with Pakistan? Because that's the only way for you to somehow appease the separatists and hope for power through their shenanigans in the valley.
No, elections are a different phenomenon. So my case is that fight terror as best as you can. I have said, to my mind, you are fighting the terror. Therefore, these unfortunate, say, martyrdom of three very brave sons of India. You fight terror as best as you can. But you have simultaneously to look for the opportunities to talk to Pakistan.
General G.D. Bakshi,
because
you put your braves as cannon fodder and then you talk to their masters, and that will bring peace to India. That will find a solution to this problem. Is the formula, is the medicine, is the prescription that Saifuddin Soz is proposing at this moment. Is this not the betrayal of our armed forces?
No.
You know, the exact wordings. Can I, Mr. Soz? Then I love to listen to you.
Keep on fighting terror as best as you can. But you can't say
Thank you.
You will
Thank
give
you.
talks.
Thank you. Mr. Soz, my name is General Bakshi. I think the anchor referred to me.
Yes,
it's
sir.
my time to...
Yes, General Bakshi. Yes, General Bakshi. He says fight terror on the ground, but also find time to talk.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me paraphrase, reiterate to you what he said. He said, fight terror as best as you can. Mr. Soz, I have 37 years of soldiering, active soldiering under my belt. I have fought in 71, I have fought in Punjab, Kargil, Kishtwar, Rajouri, Punch. And I'm telling you that there is no defensive defense that has ever worked. You cannot consign the Indian armed forces and security forces to fight on the own side of their border in a totally defensive, reactive, consequence management approach. That is the road to disaster. That is the road which provides needless encouragement to murderers like this. The only answer is the Israeli solution, and what the Americans then followed is to hit back at the sources of terror, at the camps where they are trained, armed, given the ammunition, the motivation to go and kill. So if you really want to put a stop to it, then fighting at best as you can on your own side, not touching the other side, doesn't work. That is exactly what we realized after, the surgical strike. For a few months it worked. Then we realized this dose was not enough. We had to increase the dose to an airstrike in Balakot. And it worked for a few years. But 2 to 3 years at least. You have to keep administering that dose
India cannot,
if you want to fight well.
India cannot take a leaf from Israel's book on fighting terror. No.
Why?
Why not? Why not? They save Israelis. They save Israeli lives. You are very free with Indian lives, Mr. Soz. You are very liberal with the loss of Indian lives. I am not. I will go with the Israelis.
No, India...
you kill one Israeli, they'll kill 100 on the opposite side.
Out of Israel's book for fighting terror.
Why?
I don't agree with you.
Why?
We are a democratic country.
Because we have
Oh, so in a democratic country, the rules of democracy say, Sushil Pandit say that we should sacrifice our martyrs, our braves, our heroes, and then go and talk to those who control them. Is this what democracy teaches us?
Navika, what has whetted the appetite of jihad is the talks that they continued with Americans in Doha, and it led to capitulation by US, and today what we see in Afghanistan is supremacy of jihad. Now this is the kind of talks they want India to indulge in, capitulate, give in, and be overrun. Let our territories be overrun, our populations be overrun. When they couch their peace rhetoric in talks, and more talks, uninterruptible and uninterrupted talks, this is what they mean, that keep conceding, keep losing ground, and keep giving concessions in order to buy peace. That is paying a ransom. It doesn't work when you are on an offensive against jihad. You have to be consistent. Talks can only legitimize the jihadis when you indulge with them. And you cannot legitimize jihad by giving them concessions of a conversation.
Talking. It doesn't come through war.
But where is the solution?
Sir, a war is unleashed on you. You don't have a choice but to fight it. You don't have a choice.
Saifuddin Soz Sahab. Now let me ask you, Mr. Vajpayee extended a hand, Dr. Manmohan Singh extended a hand, even the Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended a hand in friendship to Pakistan. These are three different regimes, three different prime ministers who have done this. I want to ask you, what gives you the hope that talks, after all that has happened in the past, are still the way forward, number one? And when you suggest that talk to terrorists as well, talk to militants as well. I want to ask you, Saifuddin Soz, how can you talk to militants who have decided that they are only here to make India bleed, to take the lives of our civilians, to take the lives of our braves, our heroes, our army men, our policemen? How can you have any talks with them, Mr. Soz? I want to ask you.
And Navika, one more question. Ask him who
please
should we
listen
talk
to me.
Who should we
listen
talk
to me
Can
for
you please tell us?
half a minute. You see, it is heartwarming. It is heartwarming at this moment to me, particularly, that our senior leaders like Bajpayee created a situation that should have succeeded to talk to Pakistan decisively. But the experience of the world history is before me that peace gets established only through talking, purposeful talking.
But then Vajpayee was rewarded with Kargil.
You have to talk.
My friend, Vajpayee's talks were rewarded with Kargil war. This country saw that war. General Bakshi, either we don't learn from the mistakes of the past, or Mr. Saifuddin Soz is probably giving us a blueprint to try and put our braves in the line of fire. Which one is it? Optimism or just cannibalizing our own sons of India?
As best as you can, but have an open mind and talks.
As you can. You're not letting us fight as best as we can, Mr. Soz, because of people pulling our leg from behind. You know, Navika, I just want to remind Mr. Soz, you know, that if you keep trying the same thing over and over again and expect different results, then, as Einstein said, it is a sign of insanity. We've been trying for peace. Not one Prime Minister. Start with Nehru. Prime Minister Nehru onwards, every Prime Minister in his turn has tried to have peace with Pakistan. How do you talk peace to a man who is committed to Ghazwa-e Hind? I hope you know what that means. The conquest of Hindustan.
Of course.
You want peace with him? Well, he would want you to surrender, to chop up, get your men killed, your women raped. That is what his ideology is. Ghazwa-e Hind. You want us to talk to a man who's picked up the gun and who's come here for Ghazwa-e Hind, the conquest, the unfinished business of conquering Hindustan. You know, their model of talks is the Doha talks. Surrender in Afghanistan. Flee from Kashmir. Like the Americans fled.
Only after
like
talks.
the Americans fled.
It will not come through war.
So why did it come? Sorry? Why did it come when Dr. Manmohan Singh spoke to the Pakistanis? Why was there 26/11? Why was the Kargil war held? Why did Pulwama happen? Why did Uri happen? Please explain. Please explain. I'm asking you straight. I'm asking you straight, Mr. Saifuddin Soz. Pakistan wants to internationalize Kashmir. They want Kashmir. Should we put Kashmir on a platter and give it to them? Because that's what talks will mean.
Give me half a minute.
Yes, sir.
See what happened.
Yes, sir. Go on.
I will tell you what I know decisively. Why Manmohan Singh ji could not succeed. He was going to Pakistan, to Lahore and Islamabad for a decisive talk with Pakistan. Unfortunately, Musharraf had raised a dispute with the judiciary and Lal Masjid incident was there. Otherwise, I knew I was in the cabinet. Manmohan Singh was very optimistic he would succeed. He had talked to Pakistan. He has his own style of, putting forward his ideas with Pakistan and elsewhere. He was very hopeful that he will do a decisive talk with Musharraf. But on the eve of that, his departure for Pakistan, Musharraf raised a dispute on the one hand with the judiciary,
but that
on the other
happens.
hand,
Sushil Pandit, isn't that what Pakistan is all about? One side will agree for a talk, the army will decide, otherwise the terrorists will decide, otherwise, who do you talk to over there, and the shadows and all the games that are being played? Are we being naive when we say that talk to Pakistan? And that's the idea that constantly keeps coming from Mr. Soz, Dr. Abdullah, and they want once again India into the trap of that talks with Pakistan, where nobody knows who's calling the shots.
Out of talking, peace will not come.
Navika, the problem is you are dealing with a hydra-headed monster. You have a semblance of, an appearance of democracy where the people in office have no power. Then you have an army which has all the power. Then you have non-state actors who give alibis to people in office and people with power to deny everything. And then you have extraterrestrial actors, extra geography actors like China and America and other blocs who would like to use them as mercenaries against India to contain us, to thwart our economy. So it is a hodgepodge. Even today, if Mr. Soz is challenged to name the authority or the person who we should talk to, I'm sure he will fumble. He won't have a name to recommend.
Absolutely.
Who do you think we should talk to in Pakistan today?
On the day, the bodies in Tiranga are going home. On the day when there will be no kitchen fires. On the day when a 29-day-old child will finally learn that his father is no more. On that day, why do these talks, bogey, really come up in Kashmir? Why do they come up on the day it is just so hurtful, not just for the family, but for entire India, that when we have lost our braves, why only on that day do these conversations on talk with Pakistan actually raise their ugly head? Why Dr. Abdullah? Why Mr. Saifuddin Soz? Why? Why do we ridicule the martyrdom of our braves? Can we not think of the emotions of those who have lost their loved ones, of a country that has lost its 3 sons? On that day to suggest talks with Pakistan, the country that inflicts these wounds, talks with terrorists, the terrorists who have caused us the loss of our braves? On that day, suggestion of talks, how can you actually do it? That is something I've never been able to understand. Where do you get the audacity of such a suggestion even coming in? Is there nothing about timing in your mind? We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my 3 esteemed guests joining me on NewsHour Debate Number 1.